Good morning, friends. Welcome to Nanda's Monday Morning Quiz, edition 13, dated the 29th of November 2021. As always, we have three questions. This time, we have made a small modification in the questions and the patterns based on the feedback that we have received from the respondents so far. Monday morning quiz right from the beginning in the month of May, it has been always a true or false statements. From now on, for probably the next 4 or 5 episodes, we thought of giving some questions where we do, we wanted to make it something on which you need to work on and give an answer. So that's why this particular quiz, there is the same three questions, but it will not be a true or false statement. So that's a very important, change that I would like to announce before we get into the actual quizzing. So instead of a true or false, it'll be again, but the questions will be interesting, and I hope you will really enjoy solving those small problems for us. And you'll also be, the questions will be testing your practical understanding of similar topics like statistical process control, measurement system analysis, and similar tools in quality like DOE, multiple regression, and all that. But this is more about you need to work on to get the answers. So that's the only change in it. But otherwise, it is the same YouTube channel and the Google form. The Google form will also be modified accordingly to give you, those boxes where you can enter your answers, the answers that you have probably calculated or derived based on the questions that we have. So it's no longer just a true or false. So we'll run this for probably 4 or 5 episodes, and then again. So these are the changes that we would like to make the quiz more interesting. And maybe at a later point we'll again get back to true or false. So it depends on the voice of customer, as we said, during one of our meetings. Post that, when we checked with a few people, they said, well, you can probably have a mix of true or false and something on which we can work on. So that's the output. So based on the feedback, we have developed a few interesting questions for quizzers like you. So without wasting much of my time, so let's get on with the PPT. So let me share the screen and get on with the PPT. Right, so Monday morning quiz number 13, dated the 29th of November 2021. So as always, the first part of this is the questions for MMQ 13. And later on, I will explain the answers for the MMQ 12 quiz, and then subsequently declaring the winners. So let me move on with the different type of question from this episode onwards. So let's give it an understanding. So for you to understand it better, let's explain this question. So here it is on statistical process control. Of course, you'll be familiar with this CPs and CPKs. So here what we have done is we have tweaked the question a little bit. So what we have given you is, there are 3 problems that you need to solve, where in all the 3 problems, the grand average, the X double bar is 10, and the estimated standard deviation, sigma hat, is 1. Okay, so this is fixed for all the 3 problems. So what changes here is the CP and the CPK values. Okay, so this is a question number 1, where CP is 1 and CPK is 1. And what we actually want you is to calculate the USL and LSL values. Okay, so that is testing your understanding about CP and CPK. So it indirectly tests your understanding of how good you are in your understanding of CP and CPK. So we normally, of course, most of you will be familiar with using a data with an Excel template or a software and declaring CP, CPK values. So here we are trying to do the reverse. So we've given you the inputs. We have given you what is a grand average. We've given you what is the estimated standard deviation. We've also given you the CP, CPK values. So with this, you need to look at and let us know what is the USL and the LSL values. So the Google form will have 2 boxes where you should enter against each question, the USL and LSL, right? So I hope you understand the expectations of what we need. We want you to, given this kind of a situation, we have declared the final answer of CP/CPK, but we want you to use your knowledge and work back on what will be the upper specification limit and the lower specification limit for this example. Similarly, question number 2, very similar situation. The only thing that changes is the CP and CPK values. So in question number 2, the CP is 0.5 and CPK is also 0.5. Again, the requirement here is you need to work back and find out what is the upper spec limit and the lower specification limit values. So the grand average and the estimated standard deviation remain the same. Similarly, you have a third question where the same situation, grand average is 10 and the estimated standard deviation is 1. CP is 1, CPK is 0.5. Okay, so this is the tricky question. And of course, we are giving you therefore a clue. The clue is the Z upper is less than the Z lower. So that's the clue, which will probably help you to find out what is the US cell and LSL for this example. So 3 similar questions. The only thing that changes is the CP/CPK values, and based on which the US cell and LSL will also change. So you need to calculate, you need to do some, small, work around with the formulas of CP/CPKs and Z uppers and Z lowers and come up with the right answers. I want the specification values in numbers, so you can put them on your Google Sheet. And again, the fastest fingers first. The first 3 responses with the right answers will be declared winners, who will receive a merit certificate and a gift voucher of ₹1,000. Right? So all the very best. So for the first time, it's going to be a good experience for us, because this is the first time we are moving away from a simple true or false kind of an answer to a something on which it tests your understanding of, you need to do some workout, find out the values, and then post it in the Google form. Okay, so with this, we move on to the next part of the explanation is the MMQ 12 questions. So these were the questions that we asked. This was the session window that the output from the Minitab software that of a DOE, of a design of experiments session window was what was displayed. So this was the first screen that we gave on the 15th of November. And then we also had the main effects plot for the same DOE example, and then the interaction plot. And there were 3 questions that we had asked for. So let me answer one after the other. So the first question that we've asked in MMQ 12, dated the 15th of November 2021, is in the given example, the MEAS temp, measure temperature factor, is considered as a covariate because it is an uncontrollable factor. So this is a standard practice that we use, so that we adapt when we do a design of experiment. So most of you will be familiar that in an experiment, there are some factors that are controllable and there are some factors that are uncontrollable, right? So the uncontrollable factors, it's generally considered, is considered as a covariate in the study. And if you look at the session window, the covariate is also mentioned and a p-value. Fortunately, in this model, the p-value is greater than 0.05. So the effect is, although it's an uncontrollable factor, it is not. This suggests that it will probably not impact this DOE model. So there could be situations where the covariate, although it is a not uncontrollable factor, it could probably, if the p-value is less than 0.05, it could impact, and then probably you need to understand how to work on further, because that DOE will become, it will be difficult for us to optimize that process, right? So in this example, fortunately, covariate, the p-value for covariate is 0.278. So it is, although it is an uncontrollable factor, but the impact of that in the model is not significant, right? So the answer for this question is true. So we normally use that in our DOE, that we consider an uncontrollable factor as a covariate in the design of experiments, right? So it is true, and 67% of the respondents got this correctly. The second question that we asked was, there is a factor called injection pressure, ING, injector pressure, which is the most significant factor that impacts the response variable strength. Well, if you look at the sessions window here again, there are a few p-values of a few factors which are significant. I mean, you have material, which is significant. You have injection pressure, which is significant. We have injection temperature, which is also significant. We have the cool temperature, which is also significant. All the four values, all the four factors had a p-value of less than 0.05. But injection pressure has the lowest of all the four. And so it probably is the most significant of all the four factors. All the four factors are significant here, but I think injection pressure, because of the lowest of the p-values that you have of 0.002, it becomes the most significant factor that impacts the response variable strength. So to this question, there are about 78% of the respondents got it correctly. It is again true. The answer is true, right? So moving on to the third question. The third question is, no significant interaction observed between factors. So if you look at all the two-way interactions that have been listed in the sessions window, all interactions show a p-value of greater than 0.05. So that is a direct, of course, even if you look at the interaction plot, not very significant, and the p-value also confirms it. So this answer is also, this statement is also true. So no significant interaction observed between factors, because all the interactions, all the two-way interactions that is mentioned here, they all have a p-value of greater than 0.05. So this is also true. So 44% of the respondents got this question correctly. So the two winners of MMQ 12, so who got all the three questions correctly, they are Mr. Rajguru, a freelance design consultant from Chennai, and Mr. Rizwan Khan, Senior Service Manager, Process Excellence and Quality of Wipro Digital Operations and Platforms based out of Noida. Incidentally, for both, this is the second time they're winning MMQ. So congratulations to Mr. Rajguru and Mr. Rizwan Khan for really, taking up quizzing with a passion. And I think almost every quiz they continue to participate, and it is nice to see them, winning again and again. I mean, there are a few winners who have done it more than once, and probably as we move on with more and more MMQs, I'm sure there will be very soon somebody who will hit a hat trick and all that. In fact, there are situations where, sometimes there could be winners after the first three respondents. So since it's the fastest finger first, so we always limit it to the top three. So congratulations to Rajguru and Rizwan. So you win a merit certificate and a gift voucher. Right. With this, we come to the end of this presentation. So thank you again for watching MMQ, participating in MMQ, and I strongly believe that it is better you subscribe to this channel so that you get notified. And the next 4 or 5 quizzes are going to be very interesting. We have lined up a lot of interesting questions for you. It's no longer the true or false for at least for some time. I hope I'm sure somebody will not be happy with this decision, but we need to change patterns every now and then. That's when life becomes interesting and quiz also becomes interesting. And we always want to test as we go along. We would like to get we want to make you robust so that you are very clear in the concepts, you're very clear in understanding the formulas that are associated. We're not just putting some data into a template and getting some results. We are more about. So that is how these questions are designed. So have a look at these 3 questions related to CPCPK. Some amount of work for you. So probably see this video and probably take a look again. Maybe in the evening and before you actually venture into the Google form to give your answers. Right. So all the very best to you, all of you. So, and eagerly look forward to the responses for this changed pattern of MMQ 13. So wish you all the very best and hope to get some new winners this time, I guess. So thank you all and stay safe and wish you all a very happy, prosperous and healthy lives. Thanks. Signing off, Nanda from PQSI.